Welcome to today's lecture. Today we are going to be drafting trousers, and these are all the measurements that is required to draft a trouser. Let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is to divide our paper into two. That is, we are going to be measuring what we have from here to here. From here to here, we are going to be measuring what we have for the width of our paper, and then we are going to be ruling a line from the top downward. Here I have 24. I have 24.5. So 24.5 divided by 2 . 24.5 divided by 2 . 24.5 divided by 2, we have 12.25. So I'm going to be marking 12.25 from the top straight down. So I've divided the paper into two like so. Then this border line that I rule here is 3 inches. I rule 3 inches because we are going to be using it later. That is why the border line is this much. So what we have here is 3 inches from the top of the paper to this place is 3 inches, and then I rule a straight line. So now the first thing we are going to, and sorry, another thing is, before we start drafting, we need to make sure that the length of the paper is enough for our trouser length. So we need to measure our trouser length plus these 3 inches. So let's assume our trouser length is 40 inches, then plus this 3 inches for the border line, that is 43 inches. To be on a safer side, you can just measure 45 inches. So I'm going to label this border line. Okay, so then the first thing now we are going to be doing is to measure all our horizontal line, that is our trouser waist to hip, we have 9. Our trouser waist to hip here, this trouser waist to hip 9, so that is what I am marking now. So the next thing now is our crotch length. So this is our crotch. This is our crotch here, which is 11 inches. That's the next thing I'm going to be rolling out from the borderline. 11 inches. Okay, so here we have this is our hip line. This is our crotch depth. Okay, this is our crotch depth. Then the next line we are going to be rolling is our skirt waist to knee. This one right here. That's our sorry for saying skirt waist. Our trouser waist to knee. So this is the next thing we are going to be rolling out. 22. Okay, so we have our knee. We have our knee length here. Okay, then the next thing we are going to be rolling out is our trouser waist to ankle. Trouser waist to ankle or out seam leg, which is 39 inches. This is our trouser length as well, so I'm going to be marking that out. So this is the full length trouser. Full length. Okay, so now we are now going to start with our horizontal measurements. So now the first thing that we are going to be doing now, we are going to come on this crotch depth line. This is our crotch depth line. Then we are going to be marking out our thigh, this measurement right here, our thigh round. So we are going to be dividing it by 4. Thigh round divided by 4. We have 5. So this is the thigh round divided by 4. We have 5 inches. So now what we are going to be doing, we are going to come on this crotch depth line. That is where we are going to be marking out our thigh round. So on this line, this middle line is going to be our guideline. So from here to the front, I'm going to be marking that 5 inches, like so. And from here backward, I'm going to also mark the 5 inches. Okay, so this 5 inches from here to here, 5 inches, I'm going to come up here on the border line as well. I'm going to mark from here to here 5 inches. Then I'm going to do a straight line. Like so. Okay, so from this line, I'm going to come up here and mark hip divided by 4. That's my hip round here divided by 4. So for the hip round divided by 4, we have 8.75. Okay, so I'm going to come here, okay, from this point, from this line here, from our last straight line here on the border line, I'm going to come and measure the 8.75. Okay, I'm going to measure the 8.75, and I will also come down to the crotch line, and from this same line here, I'm going to also measure the 8.75. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. Like so. Okay. So now the next thing we are going to be doing now is our waist round divided by 4. So our trouser waist round divided by 4, we have 7 inches. Okay, so now this 7 inches, I'm going to be measuring from this line, on this border line, on this line, on this straight line, and on the border line. I'm going to be measuring that 7 inches backward. So the measurement is going to be from here backward. Like so. So I'm going to be taking the measurement like so, 7 inches. And if the trouser, most trouser doesn't have that, so I'm going to be putting that on this trouser. So, and our dart measurement is 0.5, that is 1 inches. So I'm going to be adding the 1 inches here. Okay, then so the next thing I will do now is to divide my hip, is to divide the trouser waist to hip divided by 2. Here it is, trouser waist to hip divided by 2, we have 4.5. So from the border line downward, I'm going to be measuring the 4.5. You can also measure it, you can also rule it to the end of the paper backward and to the front, but there is no need for that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to divide. So the next thing we are going to do now is to connect this point to the middle of here. From here to here, just get the middle, then you connect this point to that side. So with your curve ruler, like so, just connect like so. So now this remaining space, we are not going to be needing it. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to do, we are going to come here on this hip line, on this line, we are going to come up by 0.5. Just dot it, 0.5. So with this curved part of our curve ruler, we are going to be connecting our crotch from this point to this point. Just like so. Okay, so now to connect our darts, to draft out our darts, we are going to, unlike the skirt that we are going to be marking our nipple to nipple, we are not going to be doing that on the trouser. For trouser, we are going to be dividing what we have from here to here. We will divide it into 2. So we have, this is 8 inches, then 8 divided by 2, that is 4. So my 4 inches is right here. Okay, and for the dart, for the front dart of the trouser, we are going to come down by 1.5, I'm marking the 4 inches that I marked up here, so I'm marking it right there. Then I'm going to be drawing a straight line down to the 1.5 we came down with. Then I'm going to be drawing a straight line like so. Then the next thing we are going to be doing now is on that 4 inches that we measured when we divided the waistline. So we are going to be measuring the 0.5, that 1 inches we added on our waistline for the dart. So we are going to be dividing it in between this line here. So we measure 0.5 here, 0.5 here for the dart. So 0.5, 0.5. Then we are going to connect our dart to this point. Okay, so this is our dance. Remember, this line, that is this middle line, is not part of what we are doing. It is our guideline. So this is our dart, and this is our waist line. And this is our front pattern as well. So I'm going to be labeling this front okay, this is our front pattern. So the next thing we are going to be doing now, when we are done with this one, is to come to our knee length. We are going to come to our knee, and then our knee round is 15 divided by 4. 15 divided by 4 that should be 3.75. We have 3.75. Okay, so now here it is. Our knee round is 15 divided by 4. We have 3.75. So what we are going to be doing is to measure the 3.75 from this line, our guideline, forward, then the 3.75 backward. 3.75, 3.75. Okay, so this line, we are now going to be connecting these two together like so, and then this one as well, we connect it together like so. Okay, coming out. So the next thing is to go to our bottom leg, and we are going to be doing the same thing we did on the knee length. We are going to be dividing our bottom leg divided by 4. So this is our bottom leg divided by 4. 12 divided by 4, that should be 3. So we are going to be doing the same thing we did on the knee on the bottom leg. Let me also write this. stroke bottom leg. I hope you can see. So we are going to go there, measure our 3 inches forward to the front and to the back, 3 inches. Then we are going to connect like so. So this is the end of the trouser for the front pattern. So now to draft the back pattern for this trouser, because we are going to be drafting them together and then trace one of them out on another paper. So what we are going to be doing, first of all, we are going to come here. So we are going to continue on this pattern. Actually, I've drafted out everything, so I need to explain how the back pattern is drafted as well. So the first thing to do is to come here. From the first pattern we drafted, the front pattern, we are going to come out by 1.5 inches here. Okay, then we are going to come to the waistline. From the front pattern, we are going to come in by 1 inches. So this is our 1 inches here. This is the 1 inches. So we are going to be connecting this 1 inches to the hip line here on this crotch line, like so. So while we are connecting, we need to make sure that the line extended to the end of the paper at the top. So we are going to connect it like so. Okay, so after connecting it, the next thing we want to do is to connect our crotch to this hip line using this part of our curve ruler, like so. Okay, from that 1.5, we are just going to connect it like so. Okay, then the next thing we want to do now is to come to this. Remember, this is where our pattern stopped. We are not making use of this, and please ignore this line here, this one that is here. Please ignore it. Okay, and also ignore this one as well. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do, from this is our front pattern, from here to here to down like this. So from here now, we are going to be measuring 3 inches. We are supposed to measure 2 inches, but the reason why it's extended to 3 inches is because the 1 inches that we remove from here, we need to return it back to this place. So we are measuring 3 inches from this point outward. So we measure the 3 inches like so. Here's our 3 inches. Then we are going to come to our crotch line. On this line, we are going to come out by 1 inches. Okay, then we are going to be connecting this to this point. We are connecting here to here using our curve ruler. Like so. Okay, so now the next thing to do, this line, remember this line that is extended, so we are going to come to this, to our waistline, this line. Then we are going to be coming up by 1.5 inches. From here to here, 1.5 inches. 1.5. Okay, this place is 1 inches. Okay, here also is 1 inches. This place is 1.5. Okay, then from that 1.5 that we came up with, we will now connect it. We are connecting here to here, like so. Okay, so when we are done, remember how we drafted our dart on the front pattern. We are going to be doing the same thing here. So what we do is to measure what we have on the waistline. Remember, divided by 2. Here I have 10 inches. So 10 inches divided by 2, I have 5. Okay, so from that 5, remember this line now is now a diagonal line. It is not a straight line. So how do we make our dart to be straight? What we do is to make sure that if we look at our pattern master, there are lines here. So we just make sure that one of these lines, one of these straight lines that we have here, align with this our waistline here. So like so, we are going to get a straight line. So that is what I'm doing now. So I've gotten the straight line. Okay, I allow the line to extend like about, just like about 1.5 downward from the upper hip line. But we are going to be coming down. Remember, the front dart, we came down from the upper hip line, we came down by 1.5. But for the back dart, we are going to be coming down by 1 inches. 1 inches. Okay, from here to here, 1 inches. Then remember, our dart is 0.5 here, 0.5 to the other side. Then we are going to connect like so. Then we connect like so. Okay, so that is that for the upper part. So now the next thing we want to do now is to come down to our knee length. We are going to be coming out from this our front pattern. From here, we are going to be marking out 1 inches. From here to here, 1 inches. From inside here, this pattern outside, 1 inches. So I'm marking it like so, 1 inches. Then we come to the front as well. From here, remember this is our front pattern. So from here outward, 1 inches. So I'm marking the 1 inches like so. Then I'm going to be connecting this to here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, then I'm going to be doing the same thing to this side, connecting here to here. Okay, so the next thing is to go to the bottom leg. The bottom leg here. Then the same thing, this is our front pattern. So I'm going to go outward by 1 inch. Then this is our front pattern. I'm going to go outward by 1 inch. So marking the 1 inch. 1 inch. So I'm going to connect. And do the same thing to the other side. Okay. So now this side that is having the red lines, everything that is having the red line here, that is our front pattern. Please ignore all these lines here. This one, this line is not part of our pattern. Okay, So when we are tracing out our pattern, if it is the back pattern that we want to trace out, then we are going to trace it out. We are going to trace it out like so. Okay, like so, like so, to the bottom leg. Then from here, from here, then to the bottom leg, and from here going downward. That is our back pattern. So for the front pattern, we have this line here, the green line, everything that is having the green line, that is our front pattern. So we have here, okay, this is the dart for the front pattern. Then we have here, remember this is our back pattern, so from here to this place, like so, this crotch here that has green, that is our front pattern. Then all the way down, so now we are going to draft this pattern. When we are done, then I will show us how we are going to trace out the pattern, because we can't cut it out like this. Thank you for today's class. I hope it is well explained and it is well understood.